Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the main event of the evening. Are you ready?
Just bring it!
Woo!
And that's the bottom line. And that's the bottom line.
Woo!
Just bring it! You guys know what time it is. It's another edition of the Asylum. I'm your host, KWEST, and I am joined to my left.
Hey man, the brother man with the master plan, Cam Jackson.
Yeah.
In SEPHIROTH.
I tell you.
I like the way. I like the epic delay.
Yeah. Very cinematic and dramatic and all that other stuff.
Suspenseful.
Yeah. I like that. I like the new scarf there. You know. Did you tie that one pretty tight?
I have no idea which scarf is on my head, but it is tied pretty tight. You know the definition of a fool, right, KWEST?
Oh,
I'm sure you're going to tell me.
A man that does not learn from his mistakes. And one thing SEPHIROTH is not is a fool.
well, there you go. Well, folks, there you have it. SEPHIROTH is not a fool. We'll see you next week on the well, maybe
Next month. Maybe.
Hey man, listen. They're working hard in production. Listen, all y'all out in production, this one's for y'all. All of y'all.
I mean, listen,
all of you.
All those budget cuts and all that other stuff. You know, we working through, we making it happen, but we gonna bring you to Asylum.
To better days.
Oh, this is some good stuff here. That's some good, great libations.
You didn't say the S word. That's good.
I'm trying to make it easy for our editor. You know what I'm saying?
Well, listen. Hold on. I don't know if they take the cuss words out with the disclaimer anymore.
I don't know.
I don't know. You guys tell us in the comments. We never get to see this. It's a lie and a half. I don't even know why I said that.
I don't know how the algorithm works and all that, you know, so I don't, you know.
Speaking of algorithm, what we talking about today, Quest? Because you know what, we come here and this has become such a fun part of all of our week. I'm ready to dive into it today.
Well, I mean, we've got several good topics today, or maybe something. But anyway, all right, this is something that's been on my mind for a while. We're going to start on this though, like in indie wrestling. All right, we're going to move into the topic of the week. In indie wrestling, why don't we see any submissions anymore? Is submissions a thing in indie wrestling? Cam, you can start us off.
They're a thing, but you have to understand, like, submission is to be built, right? We have this thing. We have the UFC now. We have all these other things that are, I mean, they were around back then, but nowhere near to the popularity that they are now. You know, the being a shoot fighter and all that stuff. Now, like, you got to have some legitimacy if you're going to go get in a wrestling ring and claim the same style. You got to have something legitimate about you, or anybody from the outside is going to be like, oh, no, that guy sucks. You know what I mean? So submission wrestling on the indies per se, like, yeah, it's there, but submission finishes, you know, they're few and far in between, because you can't expect now the traveling person with their own brand, you know, they maybe have fans come to their show, you know, I don't mind losing, but come on, dude, let me just take a pinfall. If I tap out now, this little girl over here, or this little family over here that followed me from whatever town, you know, they may not come to the next show because I gave up. You know what I mean? That's their logic. To me, does it matter? No. Will I tap? Sure. It's up my character's alley to tap. You know what I mean? But I do understand the presence, and as petty as it sounds, it's just that type of business.
And I'll elaborate on that because I didn't know how you formed that question, meaning like just submission in general or finisher. Now, when he said, do you see much submissions as a finisher, I was going to say, hell no, because nobody wants to tap out anymore. And I'll take that further with that. Like he said, that's the reason why. I mean, I was going to go on the salty side of that, saying, you know, wrestlers' arrogance won't let them tap out anymore. You know, if you're good enough in the ring, you can make anything believable and make it be good. You know what I'm saying? As far as if someone has a finishing move and that finishing move was a submission and I know they was winning, then let's do it, but we'll make it look good. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to make myself look weak and just tap out to your finishing move. You're going to put it on me multiple times, and maybe I'll tap out to it a second time because now I grabbed the ropes twice and you pulled me away from them. You know what I'm saying? We want to really tell that story.
You've weakened this body part.
Yes. So, like, but that is the reason why you don't see that. It's because of that reason. Because no one just wants to tap out because it does make you look weaker. It can, if you allow it to.
See, and you guys, both of you pulled everything out of my mouth what I was about to say about the stuff. You know, and like you touched on, I think when you talk about the indies, it's an ego thing. You know, everybody got, I don't want to tap, but but let's really be honest. Also, people in the indies aren't built like Triple H or whatever. Like your little skinny ass will tap if somebody put a lock on you. But as you were saying, like it has to lead up to that. It has to make sense. You know what I mean? And it's a build up and all that. But here's where I feel on it. If the promoter or because you know we pull the curtains back, we know wrestling is scripted, so you know who's gonna win, who's not. If you're scheduled
choreographed,
if you're scheduled to go under on that, it shouldn't matter as long as the story is told. It shouldn't matter how you go under, but you do have characters that, all right, you don't want to look weak or whatnot. Per se, me, I've got size on a lot of the wrestlers that's in here. All right, so I'm not above tapping out, but you're going to have to really work it. You got to tell that story how you broke my big ass down, especially if you weigh half my size. If you're giving up 50 to 75 pounds to me, then you got to build that up, you know, so it'll be believable.
So now I'm playing devil's advocate here because you say it's egos, and that's true. It's egos, it's arrogance. But then there's also reasoning. There's reason. There's pure reason behind it. What do most promoters expect out of you time-wise on a show? Your normal indie match by trade off of whoever is booking it is 6 to 10 minutes. You're telling me, guy my size is gonna break your ass down and make you tap in 6 to 10 minutes? You've been coming here for years. And in 6 to 10 minutes, I'm supposed to make you tap. So on the other side of it, like, yes, it is ego, but on the same time, there's reasoning behind it. Like, you should not want to tap to me. You know what I mean? Like, not
6 to 10 minutes is a long time in a real fight.
With a professional that can target that, that's why I said earlier, legitimacy. With a professional that can target that limb, yeah,
I mean,
But
we
with-
have UFC. They in a non-championship match, it's 3 rounds. That's 15 minutes, right there.
Yeah.
What breaks in between?
Right. But now, in 6 to 10 minutes, again, if the story is told right, you have to make it believable.
Okay.
So,
It is. I think you can make it believable. But now, here's the other problem with indies. Once one person does it, everybody does it. Now it's a forever growing vicious circle of I can give you more reasons not to do it than just saying, yeah, I'll do it. Now, me personally, am I above tapping out? No. When I lost the internet title, I actually pitched the finish to tap out, and we did. That's the one we did, and I liked it, and I was happy with it. I loved it.
It was built to that.
Yeah, and I think we did that slick. I think we did it pretty slick because I was, trying to put this elbow over, and he caught me out of it, and it was dope. Right. So like I said, if somebody wants to hit, win by submission, I'm down. Let's get there. Not a lot of people have that mentality, and there's more people. Like I said, more people can give you more reasons not to do it than to do it.
right. And I think a lot of that plays in because, like I say, we got those egos. And that plays also into, submission wrestling, there's an art to it, especially if you tell the story right. But it's also the same as you can't have your ego and say, well, I don't want to tap, but yet you're going to call a match, but yet you want to do 15,000 high-flying spots because you want to get your shit in. You want to hit me with 3 destroyers. To me, I hate that totally. But I can't really hate it in the indies because now they actually do that in the pros, on TV. People hit you with a destroyer. That way at one point was a finisher. But now it's you hit 3 of them and people are kicking out of it and all that,
Now that's what I meant to say about submissions in general. A submission finish on the indies, it's almost hard to get over off principle. Every submission finish you remember from WWE is because it's on WWE, and you can do it on those roster guys on WWE. It's hard for me to build, the Cobra Clutch at XWW and then at APW Chester and then at this, what I mean? You're just not going to get the same turnaround, and you're not always booked in the same scenarios and all these shows. So, the submission finish may be in your arsenal, but you're going to have to learn that, sometimes you're going to have to trade it in for, not being known here or people no-selling the shit sometimes.
Right. And I'll be devil's advocate on that and just put it on the other side of the offense and not just say, it's their ego. On the other fence, on the other side of the fence on that is, it's boring. Everybody wants a power move as a finisher. A lot of people don't think of a submission as a finisher nowadays as wrestlers because it's boring. Everybody want to power slam somebody. The second we think of a finishing move in our head was all right, what type of move I can do where it ends in the slam or ends of us powering our opponent down.
That also comes again because now the thing is everybody want to do the high flying spots, these high spots and all this this dazzling stuff. But if that story is told correctly, it can go over and be believable. It's just you got to have somebody over there that's going to do it without ego. And my thing is, if that promoter says, "Look, this is how you're going under," listen to the story. If it's told right, and okay, you get with it.
But devil's advocate behind that one, and this is solely because it's just a good point. It's a good topic. Now promoters aren't too detailed with what they want to people, and I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but I think we all know the day after conversation, when certain promoters with certain things are unhappy or didn't like certain things, and it's you didn't go into detail to these people with which you wanted. You know what I mean? So they can't give you that story. They can't set up that story. Not, at least not to you the way you would like to see it. They can give you something cooler or not cooler, but they're never going to give you what you want if you don't tell them directly. I will say at XWW we're trying. It looks like more and more we're getting to that point, but it's not enough. There's definitely not enough if we're still getting,
right,
the day after conversations is what I'm talking about. With all due respect, and by no means am I throwing shade. I mean, that person has the right to have those day after conversations. You spend the damn money on the shows, you say whatever the hell you want. If you like it, you don't like it, that's your right. But yeah, you still have to be detailed so you can, at any workplace, you're the boss. You got to tell people what you want so you can get the product you want. So that's the other end of that, right? Says, hey, I want a tap out finish. That's great. We can do a tap out finish. But all right, what do you want me to do? You want me to work his leg? You want me to, you want me to do his arm? Is this a no DQ match? Is this do rope breaks count? Because we can really do some sick shit with that. You know what I mean? So we have to. Then yeah, submission match is a fucking draw at that point, or a submission wrestler in that match is a draw at that point, because yeah, I'm waiting to see how we, with no rope breaks, I'm waiting to see how somebody can get out of that hold, you know what I mean, or whatever. But it's, the promoter has to help, you know what I mean. You got to set up some stuff around it. If you have a submission, Kurt Angle is the best, and Ken Shamrock, two best examples I like to give, because they come from that legitimate background. So the second they went for that ankle lock, you knew it was, oh shit. It was like,
Right.
Even if you knew somebody was going to roll out of it, you knew Angle was going to pick it again somehow. You know what I mean? It was just because he was that slick.
I mean, it's told correctly,
But he is
the
legitimate background. He can snatch it out of anywhere, essentially. So that story tells itself, is what I'm saying. Not for Cam Jackson, who is not a submission wrestler in the slightest, winning a match with a figure four. You know what I mean? It's just like, did you need to do that? Now that seems like egotistical on my part to make somebody tap when I don't do any moves that involve people tapping.
right. I feel you on that.
So, if and people the industry is changing, and what made Vince McMahon a wrestling god is you're going to forever have these quotes. But it's actually a good thing, because that means you got to change with time. That's the only way to succeed. So he's going to always have OD saying, I don't like this new shit. This new stuff sucks. As long as he continue having old guys saying that, that means he's doing something right. And because you got to change. And so what I'm saying is, with this industry changing to what it has become, the answer that what this topic was all about, that's why submission is not in both industries, TV industry and indies, because it's boring. People, when I watch UFC, I understand it, so I'll watch a whole UFC match and they're doing a lot of submission and I'm loving it. Everybody else, they're sitting there in the room, like, man, this is boring. Man, get back up, make them fight. And I'm like, wait, man, this is some dope shit they doing. But to them, it's boring.
In wrestling, yes, it would be boring if it was applied like UFC. We realize UFC, they're really trying to break each other's arm, beat each other's ass. They want to tap them as quick as quick as possible.
It's not spot wrestling. And that's why spot wrestling made it to TV. Remember, people on TV knocked it more than anybody else. But guess who's doing it now? TV, because that's everybody that invented spot wrestling is now on TV.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So all of them, they invented spot wrestling. They're all on TV now.
Right. But I mean, I really, if it's people have done it right, I really would like to see that in any wrestling, because I don't see it nowhere.
I think a character would go over. If you had a character that came into the indie wrestler that was a specialist, like Steven Regal, Man of 1,000 Hole, Dean Malenko, they come in here and that's their character. That's all they do. They ain't doing no part. Their whole match is putting you in tons of different variations of submissions. Okay.
So, like I said, we have one on the Indies that's, in my opinion, the best wrestler in the world, and that's Zack Sabre Jr. He tie you up in a hold out of a lockup, out of a punch, out of a finger poke. You know what I mean? And he's on the Indies. I don't know if he's signed particularly anywhere, but but here's the thing. I told you that, right? How many of y'all knew that before I just said that?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even know who he is.
So that lets me know, right? There's one on the Indies. You have what you're asking for. That's how well it's working. You don't know. You know what I mean? It's just going off. I don't know. And I'm not trying to knock down your point. I'm trying to tell you. I'm just trying to show you that there's a market for everything, and sometimes that market isn't as big as we like it to be. You know what I mean? Zack Sabre Jr. is the best wrestler in the world, in my opinion. And
I'm definitely glad to look him up.
And it's a shame.
I haven't heard of him.
It's a shame that you have to almost be in the business, like really into it, to know who he is and how good he is and what he can and can't do. But that's about it. That's because it's on the Indies. Like, I can make a huge splash over here, step somewhere else, a motherfucker look at me and be like, what the, who, what? You want this much money? I don't even know. Get out of my face. You know what I mean? So it just works. People think that just on this level. I know it's not the topic, but people think that just on this level it's like that. No, it's like that even on the big time. Zack Sabre Jr., like I said, best wrestler in the world, tie up in a hold out of anywhere. And, not a lot of people know who he is just off of saying his name. And that's where submission wrestling, that's why Seth said it's boring. Like, it's not boring in the sense of the competition. It's boring in the sense of if I'm a fan. Yeah, exactly. If I'm a fan, I can't ooh and ah at that. I can that was cool, but I can't ooh and ah and that's not the highlight.
Holy shit.
Right.
That's what we said. Not boring in the competition wise, but as entertainment wise.
It's not physically entertaining.
I love it though. Sephiroth loves submissions. Every match I have, I at least slap some type of submission hold on my opponent, not only to breathe. But, that's what I do.
Right.
A smart man.
I mean, like I say, I personally would like to see more of it. I personally, in my return, I plan to incorporate that, but we'll see. Again, I say, if the story is told correctly.
Don't worry, Mr. Commissioner. Sephiroth will tie you into a pretzel. You want to be tied up? You want to be submission? Sephiroth got you.
Oh, shit.
As long as it ain't the tombstone. I told you we not going in there.
Oh, man, we had a trainee today, guys. That motherfucker wanted to do the double tombstone. I said
that last one.
I said, man, you getting me twice, huh? I'm digging it. You sure you want to do this for the third time, Bash? I'm not supposed to slip names, but I love you, brother.
You put that W. Russo. I love you, brother. He Yokozuna.
I'm going to tell you what. Every reverse tombstone that I've ever done, I've never called. Every reverse tomb. Yeah. Even facade, every reverse tombstone Sephiroth has done in his career, I've never called. And I'm only opening that statement by saying this. If that motherfucker calls a reverse tombstone on me one more time, I'm going to do a gobble. I'm telling you this now, because that'll be the third time that motherfucker call a reverse tombstone.
No, but listen, off topic real quick,
I'm going all in.
Listen, off topic though, Seth. Like, we have to do a lot of editing when you're here. But when you're gone, the shit is 3 times worse dealing with that man and whatever guests we have. Oh, bro, you when you leave your spirit here or something, because it is
Gobble.
3 times worse.
And then you said I'm definitely getting the gobble.
You know, I can still hear you. But yeah, it gets worse when you're gone, Seth. So I'm glad you're here. Cause
So you switching teams, Quest. What is this? What's Quest? What's causing all this?
listen, I'm just saying. Listen, I'm the host of the show. All right.
Absolutely.
So the fingers get pointed at me when I have unruly guests. We've already listened. The last Asylum, we already had a couple episodes canceled. These people love the Asylum. I know you do. They want to tune in to see us. I don't want to have to keep canceling our shows.
It's not always me.
And I'm gonna say,
No, it's
the
only
only people, the only reason why we get canceled because we have a bunch of bags running the show, and it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be canceled. Because like you say, the people loves us. The people love Cam Jackson. The people love Sephiroth. And the people love the commissioner. And guess what? I just want to put this out here for the first 50 people at our next show.
Oh,
Get
my
free
God.
hot dogs. Okay, get free hot dogs for the next 50 people at our next show.
It wasn't me.
all I'm saying is,
Hey, keep that camera on you.
We are doing it. We're doing the raffle as well. It's $10 a raffle. Okay, whoever wins
ticket.
that. Yeah, $10 a
Is that
ticket.
camera on you, Quest?
Enter your name and you get a year of free
Quest forgot he had the camera board in front of him.
to Xtreme TVOnline.com.
I don't want to be obvious and be, you know, it's on me.
I've been saying it, but yeah, you know, you got the, it wasn't me.
I know Sephiroth, he does this every time, and he tells you you're going to get this and that at the show. But what he don't realize is that you're not even going to see this episode until next year. So
Your mama wear combat boots
we don't even know.
to dinner.
Hey, she a no limit soldier. I'm like, yo, but you know, we'll get. I don't even know we'll have hot dogs in December. I don't know that they still do that next time. You know, by the time you see this. But anyway, I get it. But
Sephiroth is a caring man. Our ratings and numbers and ticket sales went up since Sephiroth pushed this to the promoter and he got on board. And since then, ticket sales have went up. Who doesn't want hot dogs?
listen, I'll take hot dogs as long as it wasn't that stale ass.
He said he'll take a hot dog.
Oh Jesus! You know what? I'm about to put the camera dead on y'all ass.
Now, I remember that time. Wait.
What?
Don't put no camera over here.
I hit the button.
Hold on, wait, bro.
Hit the button.
I'm trying to get back in the topic.
No, I hit the button. Watch your mouth.
All right. Remember about them tight ass balls, though?
Man, I'm telling you what, Justin Herbert, man, he got some tight balls. He got some tight ones.
Yo, but wait a minute. Y'all, you forget this one, right?
Oh, no.
You forget this one, right? Hey, yo, raise your legs up there so I can get up under there.
You know, I couldn't remember what it was. Thank you, Quest. We was talking about this 2 days ago. I said, Cam, what did you say that put you under the bus? And
Yes.
yes.
He was like, yo, lift them legs up so I can get up under there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know what? It's called receipts there, buddy.
Go to hell.
Did you not have a trainee sit on your face?
Oh, boy.
Listen,
to keep it in. Sorry.
watch your mouth now. Watch your mouth. You know they might get
He's a trainee.
A trainee.
Yeah. That's exactly what he said.
That's what I said,
I'm
boss.
just saying, you know, you got to make sure you pronounce it correctly.
What's the next topic? Shithead. Shafid.
Yo, all right. Okay. All right. Let's move into the next topic. All right. Next topic. Another one of the week. This one was brought to us. Like, okay, how important is it for a wrestler to be used in a storyline in the indies? Well, I don't know. You can actually apply that to fresh too. But how important is it for a wrestler to be in a storyline?
I don't know, Quest. You tell me what you think, Quest.
Well, I.
No, we were just laughing about a joke we told earlier. Hey, Quest, you want to hear it?
No. How important it is for a wrestler.
We're going to tell you anyway. Why was 6 afraid of 7?
Why?
Because 7, 8, 9. You get it, Quest?
I get it. And that's one of the corniest shits I ever heard. No. It was good. It was good. I give you that.
All right, go ahead.
It was good. It was good. But no. All right.
Motherfucker,
how important is a wrestler to be used in a storyline? I really like. I'm from old school wrestling.
You know, my girlfriend told me. I mean, I bet to say that's a pretty big vocabulary.
Boy, Bob is gonna hate you. Like, we got all this easy stuff going on, and you just make it difficult for Bob. All right, we get it.
Well, what you got there?
Oh, yeah, what
do you got there?
What you got there?
Which is your report?
What you eating now? What you got there?
Some potatoes? Can I get some potatoes? Is that how you're up top?
Oh!
God.
He said potatoes. I need some potatoes.
Why?
I don't know why. You tell me why. Jesus.
Why y'all get me caught up in this crap?
You ain't even drunk.
It flows like a. It flows.
You got me down here talking all southern and shit. You heard that? You ain't even drunk.
That's what I'm talking about. You know them up top don't be like y'all.
Yo, watch your mouth, bro. What? Y'all up here cussing and shit? Oh, I got it all wild up in here, bro.
Yo, my bad, B.
Stop.
You know, my bad, son. We got this, all right?
I'm hip.
All right, my guy. You good, my guy? I don't need to come over there, B.
Yo, check me out.
You good, shit?
I'm good, God. I'm good.
On God.
On
God.
God. On my mama.
On God.
On my sister.
Wait a minute. That's the South. You know, on them South boys put this shit on their mama.
That ass though?
Dead ass though for
Dead
that.
ass.
Dead ass for them up tops.
Dead
You know
ass.
what I'm saying? That's my word, B.
Alright.
That's my word.
Alright. Alright. There's all right. There's alright, and there's alright.
And
You know what that mean when you hear that?
Nah, I mean.
Know what I mean? Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm talking about?
Okay, so we're gonna move it to our next topic.
How much time did we just waste doing that?
About 5 minutes, I don't know. But listen, our next topic: how important is it for an indie wrestler to be in the storyline? Say me, I think it all depends on the character. How long have they been in the business? Are they known? Are they known for that particular company and region? What story are they trying to tell? You know, I really think, because see, with the indies, and it's just my opinion, I think a lot of them now is just they put on a wrestling show. They don't necessarily build that fan base, because what it is, people just want to see. If they want to see just a good show, okay, people gonna put up the ring in the middle of wherever, you know,
Elaborate on your question as well, Quest. Where's that line? when you see, you know.
Well, that's part two. We're gonna get into that too, but just initially saying, like I say, I'm a story type person. You know, wrestling to me is a soap opera because they pulled the curtains back. They're like, oh, people are scripted. They know who's gonna win or whatever, but you still got to tell that story. I mean, you can't just go out there
because of the curtain being pulled back. The story is even more important now because that's all you got.
Exactly. And you know, so do I feel that indie person is important? Yes, I do. And even if you're a newcomer coming in, you don't have that much experience, but the promoter gave you this opportunity to be in this show. All right? Now, if you're just a nomad, you know, you pop in the show, the week, you know, you just want your check or whatever. Okay, that's cool too. But you might not want to be a part of that story, but whoever you're with is still telling a story. So even though you're just a flyby, you still have to be in that story to be. The important person is that guy who is there, who is the favorite, the hometown favorite or whatever. You're still telling his story. So his story has to still match with whoever he gets in, even if this guy's a fly-by-night coming in and going. The story needs to be told. And is it important? Yes, because I feel that's how you build a fan base. You get fans that want to see this guy. I want to see SEPHIROTH. You know what I'm saying? What's he going through next? You know?
So this is where I say,
this mother just looked at me and said, shut the f*** up, I'm next. Go ahead.
You described to me character arc.
Yeah.
Not storyline.
Well, I mean,
they're the same, but they're different. One is a self storyline. One is a story he can tell everywhere he goes, and the other is a storyline pitched by this company to these fans. I think we need to clarify that, right? Because I think that needs to happen. I think he needs to be adamant in telling his story everywhere he goes. But I don't think every time you work for an indie promotion you need to be in a storyline, because you get tied down, you get stuck, and you miss out on other opportunities.
No, but that goes back, like I said, depends on who your character is with that company. Like I say, if you're just a nomad, you know, you're just here to do my shows this weekend, I want to pack out my weekends, then no. It's not important that you be tied down in a storyline.
Absolutely.
But if, per se, let's say, for an example, let's say you're that nomad. You know, you're working for us this weekend, but tomorrow you got somewhere else in South Carolina, and after you're going across, you know, the state or whatever, you're doing something else. Okay, no, it's not important to you, but I'm here. This is the only place I am. Right. So, to me, yes, that story is important.
Right, but then that's what I'm saying. On the other end of that, that's not on. Like that to one. That scenario should never be the case, is what I'm saying. If that story is important to you and to your character, then if somebody's brought in to wrestle you, it needs to be on a more than one date basis to build to that match.
And I would say, even if it wasn't safe, you're telling your story and the promotion want to build your story and say they just think for some odd reason this week it's good to have a grudge match, so they bring a nomad through. It's still a good idea for a nomad to base that match off your story. And I think that's what you're trying to say. Right. So, you know, I think if a nomad wrestler is good, you know, and the promoter is good with communicating and letting that nomad know, it's like, hey, this is what I got going on for this wrestler that you're wrestling right now. You know, and that's just like, you know, the person that I wrestled previously, my first title defense, I never noticed it, but he did. He's like, man, we done wrestled like 6 times and I've never beaten you. You're undefeated against me. And I started thinking about all the times we fought. I was like, damn, you're all right. But it's funny because he never just comes and fight me on just a normal grudge match. He's always coming in booked against me when I am wrapped up in a storyline, and the promoter's trying to push my character. You know what I'm saying? And for some odd reason, when he wants to push my character, those are one of the guys he calls, because we have wrestled plenty of times. So, you know.
See, but when we get to that too, your story is being told, which I love it, but you also got to realize our promoter, I'm not going to throw no names, but our promoter, he's more important. He just wants to put on a good show.
Right.
You know,
So,
and he knows that your chemistry with certain people works certain better. That way he can still tell your story, but he throws this guy in because he wants it to have a good show.
See, but that's the thing. That's going nowhere with this story. No disrespect. I mean, the match could be great. The match, if I have a match tomorrow here against Drew Hood, I can promise you a 5-star match, but what did we do besides just have a 5-star match here for no absolute reason? That's what I'm telling you. My thing is, the stories, that's not going to sell. They're not going to buy into just your story. They're not going to buy into just my story. We have to, that's the way I'm deciphering the question, is it important for a wrestler to be in a story where this product, I can take this thing and put asses in seats. I could put asses in seats, and I could sell.
Yes.
I could, right.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Then at that point,
no, that's the thing. That was what I was saying for part 2. We'll just bump on into it, because he's talking about is, where's that line? Right. Where's that line? Because everybody got to eat.
Right.
You know, that's the name of the game, and if you understand that, that's when it is important. Is when you do get in the storyline, you rock the shit out of it, because that is now that is your time. It's your time to shine, and so when it's this person's time to shine, you hope they rock the shit out of it, because that's what we're brothers, you know what I'm saying? And then when you pushed in the storyline, it is your time, and you better make sure, because if you don't rock the shit out of it,
you won't be in another one.
you won't be in another. You know what I'm saying? And in those moments when you're not in a storyline, you know what I'm saying, you should be perfectly content and happy with that. But I think, you know, we get caught up with the word storyline too much, I think, in my opinion. Like, the tradition grudge, the word grudge match is getting completely non-existence anymore. And I'm a big thing on grudge matches on, hey, you know what, I don't like you. You don't like me, let's fight. Let's wrestle. Simple. Hey, that's as far as it can go. I don't like you, man. You don't like me, let's fight.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you beat me last time.
Yeah.
I'm going to beat you
know
this
what?
time.
You think you the shit. You just walk up in the locker room, you got your own seat, you got this and you got that. You know what? I need to knock that arrogance out of you. Let's fight. You know what I'm saying? That's all, like, the typical, like, I just want to fight. That's gone, leaving this industry, because I think now the word storyline is headlining, and I think grudge matches is part of that style of storyline, because everybody don't need to be in the storyline. Here in XWW, the promoter once told me only the titles need to be in the storyline. Now that's something I can agree with.
I can't.
I think
that's ugly. I think with so many titles, you're forcing yourself to do a bunch of storylines that absolutely have no beginning.
Well, even if you don't have it, even if you had 3 titles, I just think that's a good base for any promotion, no matter how many titles you have.
I mean, I'm 50-50 on you. I'm 50-50 on you. I agree with yourself. Like, yes.
And know that your champion can be in 3 different storylines, because they do it all the time.
Right. I do feel championships should be in a storyline simply because.
Oh, that's why we are.
Simply because, exactly, we're here to be champions. I mean, granted, some people just love wrestling or whatnot, but I'm sorry.
Even
when a promotion says, "Look, I'm gonna put a belt on you to represent my company," I'm sorry, that means something, or it should. You know, if it's one of them, I don't care about that. Then okay, that's fine too. Be the no man. I'm gonna pay you. Going about be the mercenary. Going about your way. But I think title should be, but I don't think it's the only thing. You can still build a story and a storyline off of people who doesn't have a title. They could be, like you say, can go to a grudge match because they're trying to get to the next step to get into the mix with that title. So, I feel both of you. I'm like both of them.
It's people. That's the thing. I think that's. I just fucking lipped that damn mic right there.
I saw it.
That shit. Stop. It's not. It's people. Stop.
Do?
It's singular people.
Calm down there. Calm down.
It's singular people.
Right.
That's what you base storylines off of. Yeah, everybody can tell this big storyline. Everybody can tell this big lie, rather. Let's just call it. You can tell this big lie about it's about this, and this one gets this from it, and this one goes, and then they both benefit. No, when you write a storyline, it's to benefit one person because you're trying to push that person.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So you have to think that to push one person, eventually that's going to lead to a title. I don't think that your storylines have to be involving the title at one time, but I think they have to be involving the people that you eventually want those titles on.
That's exactly what I was trying to say when I said the champ can have multiple storylines. And what I mean by that is eventually, even these grudge matches, if these guys are good, they tell a story within the match. Like, that's good wrestling is psychology as well as telling a good story within that match. Eventually, they're gonna start chasing that title, which sets them up for a storyline to put them in a position to chase that title.
See, and that's organic. That's how you make it organically. That's how you plant the seeds and let it grow organically. And that's where I feel this question, where the part 2 really lies in, is where's the fine line? I think the fine line is when it's not organic, when it's forced. I think that's the fine line. That's when it's like, I gotta be in something, or if I'm a wrestler, I'm like, to keep my bookings, I gotta get involved with this. No, don't go to this random show and join this random faction on a one-night whim because you gotta keep it. No, that's fucking dumb. You know what I mean? That's dumb. That right there that's what he's talking about. Like, you just got it. That's like whoring yourself out. When rather, hey man, sometimes you're supposed to just be that nomad.
Yes.
That's what I am in a lot of other places. Outside of here, is that nomad, and it works really, really well. And I don't want to change that. You know what I mean? Because that means I would be stuck there, and I couldn't do some of these dates, and then what I'm building here doesn't work.
And that's a nomad that you choose.
Right.
Because I'm guaranteeing they're hitting you up wanting you to do these other shows, and you choose not to because you're not open or whatever may be the case. Because at the end of the day, even being a nomad, when you tell a wonderful story in that ring, is going to lead into a storyline.
Yeah, because people definitely listen. Rock this, I want you back.
Oh yeah, he rocked the shit out of this. Absolutely.
I want you to be back.
He made my guy look good, told a wonderful story. Like, he didn't give me it's sad. It is sad how much promoters gotta sit there and contemplate on not hurting these wrestlers' feelings because everybody's afraid to lose.
That's true.
So these promoters gotta sit here, and I tell you, that's probably one of the promoter biggest stress is worrying about who's gonna cry and cry not, and that's why a lot of the matches ends in disqualification.
Yeah, but then there's a loop with that. See, there was a time period. See, I we have to speak at least third party white, so I don't want to throw too much of our actual XWW business out there.
Right.
And it was no harm. It was never an actual personal ill will feeling. But there was a time where I was coming here and professionally just feeling like, bro, are you like, tell me then I'm coming here just to lose and I'll stop trying, because to me that's damn insulting. After a little while, it's like, it's not that I necessarily care about putting people over. I take pride in making somebody else look good in this business. But if there's no room for me, I mean, I'm a champion in 3 other places, dude. Like, let me stop doing this then. So these other places are paying. I mean, they, at the time, were paying me more. It's like, come on, like, and that's what other people get pissed off about. That's what other people start bitching and moaning about. Like, at the time, for me, I remember I'll come to Quest all the time, like, oh man, like, what the, bro, like, I'm in a champ for like 3.5 years somewhere. I'm still a champ too. Like, come on, man, I can't just be, this content's going out all the time. I'm getting my ass kicked weekly by people that I'm squashing in Hit Night, dude.
Right,
like,
right. But listen, all right, you know what? What's beautiful about what you just said, though.
So it's not that people are afraid. I'm sorry. Let me real quick to end my point. So you can. It's not that people in i.e. my case are necessarily mad or bitch about winning or losing. It's just we bitch about winning or losing for no reason. When it's just us. There was a time where only people losing on these shows were myself and Jordan Holt, and I was like, bro, we were like, what the fuck? Like,
listen,
you know,
you preach to the choir. How many times I look John, I'm like, yo, like,
what did we do?
Like, and my whole thing is, like I say, wins and losses is part of the story, but it has to be done. Make it make sense. You know what I mean? Just like, you're gonna lose because I want to pacify this guy. You know what I'm saying? Or this guy did it, or you just throwing it out. Just rolling the dice on it. Like, okay, well, this guy been here. I had him work for me so many times, he keeps losing, or let me just throw it out there. But the guy you got losing now is a marquee player for you.
And it goes beyond that. My statement with that is, that happens in every promotion. And what I mean by that is, that's something a promoter is going to stress about because wrestlers are divas.
Right.
So when they script their shows, trust me, I guarantee you, I guarantee you that's one of their biggest stress is, all right, who's going to win, who's going to lose.
But see, here's my thing. My thing is, if you pay them what they're asking for,
you're gonna do blue. All you do is be with
okay, now so
you gonna do what I tell you to do.
So I'm about to go off script like a motherfucker. So this next topic is a real topic.
Oh, so just
this next topic that I'm about to ask. Topics. I'm about to ask. It's not a topic. It's not a goddamn. It's not a damn topic. It's a question, but it's a fact. And I'm about to ask you this question now. Why is it? Why isn't there's not too many real motherfucking promoters? Tell me why 80% of fuck that. Tell me why 85% of promoters, I'm not going to use those words, but tell me why 85% of promoters are not real motherfuckers.
Of the feline persuasion?
No, don't say that.
I'm dead serious. And quote me, I'm being real when I say this.
Yeah.
Think about these promoters. I can think about 5 promoters I know now. Why is that? Because you wouldn't have that problem booking a show because what you just said, if I'm paying you, you're going to do whatever I ask. Well, of course you will say that, and you will say that, and I will say that. But we're not promoters.
They got to deal with the backlash. They got to deal with the public impact. It's always their fault. No matter what, it's their fault. If something bad happens at their show, it's their fault. Right. If I mess up a video and editing the video, it's Bossman's fault. You know what I mean? Like, it's always their fault. So they're more protective of their brand or their ego or their legacy or their image, what have you. I'd say more their image than anything.
But because what you said, the fingers are pointed at that promoter, I think that is why it's more of a case that you need to take hold of your own product. Like, this is what I want. This is what's going to happen. And if anybody has an issue with that, then look, this is not the promotion for you because, trust me, just like we got nomads and everybody, there's so many people that want, especially when you have a good product. And I might not be biased. I'm not going to sound biased about it, but I might be. We have a great product, one of the best in this area. So, it's like, listen, the promoter, I brought you in here. You're an independent contractor. I hired you to do this. This is the job I want you to do. Period.
But when you got the reputation of the cool guys, the cool company. You come here and it's a chill vibe and laid back. You almost don't want to turn that in for that. And like I hate to say it, but that's that's that boat. That's that boat. It's like now you've already are one thing, and you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Now
I'll be damned if I don't.
I know. I mean, me and you.
This is what I'm asking you.
That's what Seth is saying.
To do.
Seth is saying, like, yeah, we damned if we don't at this point. We don't care. But I don't know how much of this I might have to cut out. I'm gonna put a little marker here just in case.
No.
But here's the thing. We speaking real, right? Yeah. I mean, XWW. Our promotion. I'm not gonna put a name out, but the promotion is we're the cool guys. It's a chill vibe. When you ask for this fee, you're gonna get that the first time if you're worth that, and you'll come back.
And that's fine. And I can't even put XWW under this category because Manny is probably one of the realest motherfucking promoters I know in North Carolina as far as promoters as being real is going to tell you what he thinks and what's on his mind and how he's feeling. You're not going to push him over if he don't want to be pushed over.
Exactly.
So if he does something that you ask, it's because he's just trying to look good for you or whatever may be the case. Right. But if you tell him to do something that he don't want to do, he's not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? But, like, I've met other promoters that have no backbone. You know what I'm saying? That and it's a lot of them that are this way. You know what I'm saying? They will, but what I mean by that is like they have no backbone.
Yeah, it's almost like the inmates run the asylum. So
what I was going to finalize and say is like, we know what the deal is what I'm saying. Right? First time you call up, you get that fee. If you work that, you come back. That's the deal. That's the deal. And that's it.
But now listen.
After that, listen, you don't know what your shit might be. Coming back in, especially if you get booked again. But that's the thing is we all know the deal. Everybody that comes in here knows the deal. That's where that problem lies, is when motherfuckers don't know who they're working for, who they're working with. When they don't know the deal, then you don't know who that motherfucker is. That motherfucker ain't got no spine because they don't know who you are, and shit is bound to go bad. You're going to end up being one of these motherfucking outlaw dudes
well look,
on these damn he touched him sites.
I'm going to tell you, this topic ran good. Another great show. But we're at our time limit. So guess what? We're going to do some overtime because we still got to lead this. This is a perfect topic to lead to our last topic that we're talking about since we're talking about all this. This also is the topic of how important is it to protect your image, which just falls right in line with that. Cam?
It's important to protect that character's image. Your personal image doesn't matter as long as you living within the confines of morally correct shit. You know what I mean? You're not out stalking a bunch of little kids and plotting murders and plotting to do. Yeah, you say you go out, you smoke a little pot, you mess around with little shit. You ain't harming nobody but yourself. We can forgive that. The second you aim to harm other people, that's when you fuck up. Yeah, that's your personal life. If that character's image is okay, trust me, you'll make it. I mean, listen, I almost dropped the name and got us all canceled. But we love certain people that have done some horrible shit in their past. Some horrible shit. But they never, crossed that moral threshold of doing that dumb shit.
You most definitely touched on some stuff, but that is not the direction I was actually going for. But hey, it works too. But I was actually talking about your character's image, basically. But no, what you said also plays a part in that. You know what I'm saying? Because again, it's your image. You play a doctor on TV, sure enough, but that is still your image. So like Cam, like you have your personality, Everybody knows they're gonna get. Cam's gonna get those promos. Cam's gonna get the number one. Cam's gonna get all this.
Let me
You know
answer
what I'm
that
saying?
question for you.
How you gonna answer that question? I ain't even finished
He
making.
kind of went on the other side of it. Well, you had it. You asked the question and you gave him the floor.
Go ahead.
And then I had the floor. Why you gonna take it from me?
I don't want to lose.
The question is, it is 100% the most important thing to protect your character. Because once again, that's all we have. You got to tell your story. You got to protect your character. You have to protect your character at all costs.
And I agree with you on that. And that's my thing. You have to protect your image, which is the issue we have a lot with indies now. Because as we said, they whore themselves out.
Can I tell you
know
a
what I'm
quick
saying?
story of that for Sephiroth? That I had to protect my image. I tell this story. I was in the 3-way or 4-way with the army dude back in the day that we don't speak of. Zane Riley.
We don't even need the names. Just go.
Yes, it's 4 of us. And, you know, Zane does a lot of comedy wrestling, which works for him. That's his thing. And they wanted to do a spot where they had a fake freaking pin bomb, and we all catch it, and then we all dive and act like we got exploded.
Heard this story somewhere.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And look, at that moment, Sephiroth had to protect his character at all costs.
Yeah, most
And
definitely.
I was not disrespectful about it. And that's the thing, you know. When you say protect your character, not being a dick, be respectful. I say, hey, y'all, you know, I want to portray Sephiroth only being 100% serious and never any other way, you know, in any other way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think that's all we got, man.
Right. And like I say, your image is what you market, you know. But again, like we was going back, a lot of these guys whore themselves out, you know. They're like 7 different promotions. But here's the thing, they have no image because you're playing the bad guy over here, but yet you're a good guy at this one. You move over here to you don't know what the hell you're over here. And over here you're back to a bad guy and over here the good guy. So who can even get behind that image? We don't even know who the hell you are.
But see, that's where we contradict ourselves. We just sat here and said you're going to do what the promoter said, and now we're saying we don't know who you are because you're doing what the promoter said in different places.
Well, again, goes to the original question. How important is it to protect your image? Can you really tell this promoter, like, hey, you know, this is what I work, you know what I'm
The
saying?
answer is no, you
Because
cannot.
like you said earlier, wrestlers that do, you be like, well, this is not the promotion for you. Go to the next, and if you're okay with that, you're okay with that. But you have to listen to what the promoter says. But hey, promoters low, and a lot of promoters, I don't think you should play other guys different. I think the promoters should do their job, and if realize you heels in other places, that you should be a heel in my promotion. I don't want
Do
to
your
go
due diligence.
yeah, do your due diligence. I don't want to be a promoter and have a heel wrestling in my promotion as a face, or opposite, being a face everywhere else and come, because they're not just going to make, it makes no, it's not believable, like how people going to back up. Fans of wrestlers travel.
Right.
There's no doubt about it. I seen it. We all know it. So, like, promoters need to do their due diligence as well.
But that's the thing. Fans of wrestlers travel, whether they're good or bad. They're a fan.
Yeah.
So if he's a heel in one place, it's that fan's job to know to understand that they need to boo him there. And if they face it another, it's
It's their job to cheer 'em.
it's
I
cheer.
can-
So like my thing is this is like, you know, I don't get mad at the wrestlers whoring themselves out because really, that's more eyes you're in front of, and
And that's the name of the game.
it's a bunch of contradictory points the business makes. You know, and I'm not saying we, but the business makes these points, and they're contradictory. Like, you know, they contradict themselves.
And
You know?
it's okay when there's logic behind each answer of those,
Absolutely, yeah.
and because it is, and that's what we mean. Yes, you got to listen to the promoter. You can tell the promoter, hey, if the promoter doesn't do their due diligence, hey, I'm a I play heel everywhere else, or I play face wherever. I can do whatever you want me to do. You know what I'm saying? But I think your character is deeper than that, because your character could be the same, and you can make them boo you, and your character can be the same, and you can make them cheer you.
That's where I was going.
You know what I'm saying? And that's your character. So, like, if you know what you're doing, and I hate to say that comment because I'm not saying people that don't do that don't know what they're doing, but I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, you're still protecting your character, because if you know who your character is, it's the same, whether they booing you or cheering you.
And that's the one thing I've worked really, really hard at, is being able to be the same character.
I was just about to say that. I was about to throw you your flowers, all right? That's one thing. Cam Jackson's character has been the same everywhere I've seen him perform. And it just so happens he gets over and he gets it to these fans. Some of them cheer him. At one point, even here, he came in. They booed him. It was the chant, Cam can't wrestle. And he played into that. That was his character. That's his image. Nothing changed on Cam. But all of a sudden, now there's like, Cam can wrestle. We said, wait a minute, what the hell? And as much as Cam tried to keep them like, look, I want you to hate me, we can't hate him. But he changed his character not once. That was his image that he protected. It's just the fans, you know, they went over there on who they wanted and what they wanted to cheer for.
And that's what I want, because, you know, I'm getting a little lit here. So that's what I'm going to end my point on right here, is that it's, at the end of the day, I know we talk about all these points that contradict themselves, but the one thing that stays constant is, no matter what, if you're listening to the audience, you always got a job. No matter what.
Right.
Like, so, and that's the one thing I know I brought here. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, the fans were here before I got here, but the way I was able to listen to them and connect with them very fast, it's nothing special. It was just listening.
You know, saying that I mean, we know this. We know that it's choreographed. Everyone knows that. So how do you make it as real as possible without being real? It's those little things. I mean, let the fans choose. You know what I'm saying? You come in here and I'm a heel at face. Y'all go over y'all match, y'all do you, and let the fans choose who they want to cheer and who they want to boo. I mean, that's more realistic, because now that's when you're caught up in the moment. You're in that moment of, if they boo you, that's like you say, you're listening to them, so now you start doing things to make them boo you more. You know what I'm saying? If you go out there and they just start cheering you, okay, well, now you're going to do things that's your job. All right, they're cheering me, so hey, let's make them cheer. You know,
I ain't gonna lie, I used to never wrestle so simple in my life until people told me I couldn't wrestle. So when the fans say Cam can't wrestle, you know how many spots I cut out? I loved it. You know what I mean? And they loved it, because Cam can't wrestle. Oh, he wins with this bullshit. He went with this bullshit. He didn't even slam him. He's like, why? One kid in the parking lot, you slammed your opponent one time. Because, you know, you show them you can't wrestle. They say you can't wrestle. You got to show them that you can't wrestle, but you can win. You know what I mean? And they buy into that. And then when they get out of the Cam can't wrestle stage, then you got to do a little bit more. But it worked out so well with, you know, being team with Jordan. But that's a whole different discussion for a different time. The point being, like, yes, you know, character arts, image is great, but the way you keep your image is by listening to the fans, point blank. Your audience is always going to tell you what they want. You don't ever go into a restaurant and the food is made for you. No. You tell them what you want and they cook it to your liking.
This guy says this is the rawest show on God's green earth. It's the Asylum, that we can break boundaries, talk about what we want. This guy got canceled, and you know what we had. This guy, you want to know the reason why the Asylum is back? Because of us two. Because he didn't want it, because he's too raw, and he didn't want to have to start being PG, but we had to sit there and convince him that we can still be the Asylum had calmed down, and the way this man just looked at me when I sparked this cigarette.
You're messing up our algorithm.
Here we are. Talking about the rawest things on God's green earth. He's gonna judge me for smoking a
cigarette.
Look at this is legal just like this.
Whatever. I'm not even smoking. It's all right.
Oh, come on.
Listen, it's a word.
That is the word ball.
Yeah, but stop. You guys are just trying to scapegoat. Like, you just trying to have a reason to use the word. You don't say that shit in normal conversation. If y'all was cruising down the street, no. If y'all was cruising, no.
Prove you wrong.
No.
I'm going to that's the cigarette from here on.
You can Google it, Cam Jackson.
I know his A name, but if y'all was in the car right now, you wouldn't have said that.
I'm gonna say it from now on. Cause you know what?
What do I always tell you?
You know what? You always say.
We got enough. Guys, we're so far in this thing, I don't have nobody taking timestamp notes. That's what Dom usually does for me.
Well, listen, all right.
Is Dom ever allowed to come back?
I miss my.
We
miss our.
Oh, now you want that? He ain't even been here. I gotta look that up. I don't know. I don't have it right now.
He gonna use his middle finger.
Make the sound effect.
I don't have it right.
White man on set.
All right, yeah, I did it. It was good. Listen, we are 12 minutes over, which is not bad. 12 minutes. But let's save these next topics for next month's Asylum when it comes out.
Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen, like always, I have fun. It's been great topics. But our time is up.
Hey, fuck you, bitch.
I'm glad that's at the end because we can actually cut all this out. Ladies and gentlemen,
this is the right edition. I don't want to end. We're feeling good, boys. Let's keep it rolling.
No, we're gone.
When the last time we did word association?
We're gone.